Welcome to Reread. Today I'm on Galaxy of Fear, Book 6, The Army of Terror. This is like the final conclusion to the first story arc, because originally it was only supposed to go 6 books. Now this is the grand finale where they finally pinpoint the location of Project Starscream, and Hoole programs the ship Shroud, which is how they found the information, to go to that planet. But an energy beam shoots them down, they crash land on it, but don't worry, they're going to run into Luke, Han, and Leia, and Chewie, and all the droids. Since this was initially supposed to be the grand finale, John Whitman brought those characters back, and to be honest, just to kind of skip ahead, they serve no purpose in the story. They're there at first, they disappear as the adventure focuses on Tash and Zach Aranda. In fact, Darth Vader is on the planet too, but he's more interested in going after Gog, who they find out is alive, than going after Luke Skywalker. Now, it could be that he had a directive by the Emperor to, take care of Gog in this runaway, experiment. But Vader's #1 concern is capturing Luke. Now, again, I don't blame John Whitman, because in Book 6, this was, again, supposed to be the grand finale, so why don't you bring all the main characters back? I think if he knew ahead of time that, this is going to be just Book 6 of several more to come, he probably wouldn't have brought all the big characters back. That's just me thinking out loud. However, in the book, they crash land on the planet. There are these wraiths who are going, Mammon, Mammon, murder, murder, and they're trying to kill the kids, the droid, and Hoole. And of course, the DV finds out that an ion cannon, which blasts light, it doesn't hurt humans, but it does hurt the race, and he shoots the race and kind of scares them away. And so it looks like whatever experiment that went wrong, some evil scientist was on this planet and whatever happened, he thought he'd killed everyone on the planet, but he actually turned them into these shadow wraiths. And so whoever this Mammon is. Now, of course, it turns out to be Hoole, right? Mammon Hoole is his name. He was the scientist responsible. They reveal that later on. That's why the race want to kill him. And he feels guilty because it was his experiment that went wrong. Later on, they find out that it was Gog the whole time that knew the experiment was faulty. Actually, he tampered with Hoole's study and was set to release it, and he knew the results too, which that's kind of how Gog ends, because DV plays that recording of Gog telling the Emperor, he's about to wipe out the whole planet, and he can't wait to see what the final, he'll give him his final report, what his conclusion is, what will they turn into after this. And so then, of course, the race go to Gog and tear him apart or kill him or whatnot. Like I said, Darth Vader's in this. There also is their secret weapon. There's a little baby that's born in an egg. His name is Eppin. And I remember this immediately, because he was always told by his father, which was Gog, he was going to be the ultimate weapon. And so he's a little baby, he couldn't say it, so he kept saying Eppin. So I think his name's Eppin. Well, every time they leave Eppin with one of the Rebel Commandos, the Rebel Commando just disappears from his clothes. And they're like, what happened? And there's a big scream. So they don't know what's going on. But then eventually they find out that Eppin is growing at an abnormal rate. He's a 3-year-old, then a 5-year-old, then a teenager. Then he's a full, but as he's turned to a man, he turns into what they think is a bruise is covering his whole face. He turns into some purple creature that is featured here on the cover. And so he has all of the things. I don't devour him because he devours his opponents. He cannot die because he comes back to life because he has that whatever cryptoberry / bone worm juice in him that Dr. Evanson programmed. He can, from the blob, he can absorb, when he touches you, you turn to green jelly, just like the blob did, before he just kind of basically sucks you into himself. And then the nightmare machine, this is at the very end, he can cast nightmares at everyone, which is what he does at the end. Cast a nightmare on everyone. Of course, Tash and Zach were friends with him when he was a baby, so when he goes to kill Tash and Zach, Tash uses the Force to make a connection with him, and then he turns on Gog, who blows up his head. And you think he's dead, but of course, in the epilogue, his hand twitches. Ooh, is he alive? I don't care. Now, all these things about, Project Starscream, it's like all these books, at least the first 4 books, that has something to do with the main project. It's kind of ham-fisted in there at the end. I can't blame it, though. I can't come down hard on this because this is a children's book. It doesn't have to be this highbrow, intellectual, linear storyline that everything just connects just perfectly. No, you can just put it in there like building blocks, and it's fine. It's for children. You know, it needs to be simple and dumbed down. So I don't really mind that, you know, this creature is the ultimate weapon of Project Starscream. Of course, when Gog thinks he's a match for Darth Vader's like, nope, and Darth Vader just like manhandles the creature, which I thought was pretty cool. Darth Vader is not impressed. He's not scared or intimidated by Gog or his creature. Overall, the first story arc is fine. Like I said, the main cast of Luke, Leia, and Han, they're barely in it. Sparsely here and there. They don't need to be in it, but again, I understand it was the end of the first story arc. And oh yeah, Hool turns into a crystal snake, which you heard of in Young Jedi Knights before. I thought that was kind of just a throwaway connection there. Overall, what do I think so far? Folks, if you don't already know, I still love John Whitman's Galaxy of Fear. Remember, his hands were tied to make this as most similar to a Goosebumps novel, where every chapter had to end on a little cliffhanger, and that's hard to do. But he could have just mailed it in and made a generic, you know, Star Wars Goosebumps, but he decided to connect it to a lot of EU, and he was just getting started. Wait till I talk about more issues. But until then, I need to talk about a few other stories. See you next time.